Well, here we are at a property on the Mesa in Santa Barbara where I did an installation for some clients who wanted to maximize the effect of their yard. Prior to my work here, it was basically lawn. So what they wanted was a landscape that fit in with their values, and also the landscaping values, i.e. real estate values. So I worked with them on putting in edible plants and also increasing the aesthetic value of the property while also increasing habitat. So what we did first was we decided what part of the lawn we wanted to save. So we marked that off. And after that, we basically came in and I planted basically water-loving plants around the lawn that would utilize the overspray from the lawn, and then more drought-tolerant plants along the edges of the pathways which aren't receiving any irrigation. And there is irrigation to the hedge. The hedge is a multi-tiered hedge utilizing pineapple guavas and Suriname cherries, which is another guava family, and also Leucaena, which is a nitrogen-fixing tree, small shrub that has nice flowers and also has edible pea pods. It's also called guaje, which is it's from Mexico, and the unripe bean pods can be eaten like beans, and then the mature ones can be ground into flour. It's really protein rich. So walking through, we have sages that are flowering in the winter, provide nice forage for bees, and you can hear the hummingbirds in the background. They love it. They love sages. And then in amongst we have different trees. This is a rose apple, which is a guava family. It'll eventually get 10 to 20 feet high, shade the driveway, also provides nectar for birds and bees, and has a really nice fruit. More sages, and here's a tree dahlia, which is just starting to cover itself in blooms here. It's really drought tolerant, just basically a pretty plant. Then we put bananas in. It's a banana plant. This is a ice cream banana. It's getting overspray from the lawn. It's also on irrigation, but in a year or two they'll be getting bananas off of that plant. So moving through these, this is a canna which is from Peru. It's an edible canna. It's called Canna acura, Canna edulis acura, and the Peruvians basically took all their wild plants, or a lot of the wild plants, and cultivated them and made them edible. So here you can see the tubers just completely busting out, and that's what you eat right there. Just going nuts because they're getting so much overspray from the lawn. It kind of tastes like a cross between a potato and a ginger. Then this is a ginger. This is the Kahili ginger. That basically just provides flower, really nice full scent. This is the spent flower here, and these are spent stems, but here you'll see new stems coming up, and that's just mainly for aromatherapeutic reasons. And then other salvias we put in the Chiapas sage. Here's another canna, and you can see the flower. I know you're kind of shooting into the sun. The flower on these is not really as showy as the cultivated varieties of cannas, but still good enough to feed the hummers. They sure like it. And moving through here, I put in, this is a Yacon, which is another one of the Peruvian root crops. It's also called Bolivian sunroot. It's related to sunflowers and dahlias. Underneath in the ground are some really large tubers that kind of resemble the dahlia tubers. And when the plant will go dormant in the winter, and you can dig it up, divide the eyes, the crown, and then harvest the tubers without harming the plant and actually creating more plant material. They taste like basically a really sweet, watery jicama. And Yacon is being used because basically as a sweetener for diabetics, because the sugar it has is not processed by the body. It's high in inulin, and it basically passes right through your body. So it's a sugar-free sweetener, truly sugar-free sweetener. And then walking through, put in a little path with some local stones, and then the hedge continues along. Put in a mulberry here, which is getting a little dormant here. This is a weeping mulberry, and it's sure climbing all over the place, crawling all over the ground. And so the path is basically just functional to access their backyard, which is the next phase of the landscape design. And along the path we planted another fig tree here. This is a panache fig. There's actually a fruit on it, which is ripe, and it's a striped fig. So it's really, it's an attractive plant as well as providing fruit. One more thing. This is not a sugar-free landscape. Besides having the Yacon, which is a true sugar substitute, this is actual sugar. And you can see you got it right next to the sprinkler here. So it's constantly wet. Basically is not really on any other supplemental irrigation besides the overspray from the lawn. So we're basically maximizing the use of the lawn water. Not only did we reduce the size of the lawn, but we'll also have the water-loving plants immediately adjacent to the lawn so that any overspray is converted to food. That's the idea. So this was planted 4 months ago from one tiny little piece, and you can see how fast it's grown. And yeah, basically it can be harvested really soon. You can chew on the stems, and that's sugar. Yeah, that's it. Creating a little bit of paradise. That's the idea. And feel free to visit SantaBarbaraOrganics.com if you would require my services for anything. We put in some more food forests or make it super sustainable.